Marie Scullert, and I'm here with Nicholas Grubich, who is the son of the late Colonel Joseph Grubich. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Hope you are.
Thank you. How was it growing up with a father who played a major part in the U.S. Army?
It was very interesting. He didn't put a lot of effort into bringing work home. So, once he left work at the end of the day, we didn't hear about his day-to-day operations in the military. Half of it I didn't understand to begin with anyways, but, he was very good about separating work and home.
Yeah, that's a good skill to have for sure. Did you ever travel a lot due to his deployments, or were you mostly stationary?
So I was actually born in Fort Campbell, Tennessee, and from there on, moved to Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, stayed there for about 5 years, moved to Fort Bragg, now Fort Liberty, and, from second grade until I went to college, I was in the Fayetteville area. My dad had been stationed in a couple other locations since, but, once my sister and I got to middle school, high school age, our parents decided, it's probably not the best idea to move kids and have a completely different high school experience and meeting new people freshman year. So we stayed in Fayetteville since, and, he had other duty assignments, but he ended up at Fort Bragg again, and, it's not like we didn't see him by any means. Yeah.
But still, 3 different places to live is far more than I've ever had, so. All right. Your father was in the U.S. Army for 30 years. What do you think was the driving force that made him choose that?
So he really loved the idea of a higher purpose in his life and serving his country. His father was in the military. The World War II generation, they're all about serving your country, do what's right for the world. And, he also wanted to help out his parents. He told them, hey, I want to go to college and go to W&J. And they said, well, we better get a scholarship because we're not paying for that. And he's like, fine. He goes, if I get a scholarship, can you at least get me a car? And they said, sure, we'll get you whatever you want. He graduated in 1980, and he said, oh, I'm going to take him to the cleaners on this one. I'm getting a black Chevrolet Corvette, and, he ended up going to college, and he told him, hey, I have this ROTC scholarship that's going to pay for everything, and, when am I getting this Corvette? And his dad was like, you can take the van to school. And he's like, this is the worst.
He tried to go all for nothing.
He went into it. He originally went in for the Marine Corps ROTC program, and he wanted to do an aviation program, fly helicopters or aircraft, other fixed-wing aircraft. But he got to an advanced math class, and it made no sense to him. He said, no, I'm done with this. Switched majors to English, and then switched over to the Army ROTC program, and, he would have told you that was the best decision he made.
Yep.
So
you just fell in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Watching Colonel Grubich be in the military, did you ever have a desire to follow him, or was it more of a deterrent?
So it's kind of a little bit of both. I had always wanted to aspire to see somebody be in that position of power, that position of responsibility, and think, oh, I kind of want that. Now I don't want that. But at the time I thought, ooh, this would be super cool to do. I wouldn't want to do infantry like he did. I wanted to go fly helicopters. And, once I got to college, I got hooked on chemistry, biology, and everything. Didn't want to grow up, and, the war in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Middle East, the whole shebang got really intense, and I said, I'm not built for war, so I'm just going to go back to school.
Not for me. Fair enough, though. All right. While growing up, did your father play any sports? And if so, what were they? And also, did you play any sports that he wanted you to play?
So throughout high school, he played football. He was on the track team here. He played football at W&J as well. But growing up, I played pee-wee football, flag football. But once we got into the weight divisions for football, and I realized I'm still 80 pounds and everyone's 150 pounds, I'm like, I cannot get crushed by these other fourth graders that should be playing in high school. So I quit playing football. He didn't seem upset about it by any means. He said, I'm proud of you for wanting to go do something different. I played soccer, did bowling. He was all about that. And, he was very keen for my sister and me to, anytime we had practice, we had a recital, tournaments, he would be very, distinctly, hey, I'm very proud of you. You did a great job, even if I sucked at the game or, whatever, or my sister fell down during ballet. He's like, I'm proud of you. You went out and you did it, So I think he was a little upset, based off of some old letters I read. He's like, oh, he's going to be the next quarterback of the Steelers. I'm like, how many parents tell you this? And I'm like, I am not built to play football. So, I think he would have liked for me to play football at least through high school, but I just am not built for that.
End of the day, he's just proud of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's always, what you want and what is most important at the end of the day. In what ways did your father's accomplishments inspire you in your life, and how do you honor his legacy?
So, he has inspired pretty much everyone that has met him. You know, it's easy to say as this kid, you know, I want to live and live life how he lived it. You know, he took everything in stride. He saw the good in everything, and you know, he's very easy to point out when things weren't great. He'd say, that's life, it sucks, but what are you gonna do about it? You know, you gotta push through it. You gotta find a way to get around your problems. You know, complaining about work, he's like, they don't call it fun, they call it work. So, you know, he had a very interesting outlook on life as a whole. And, you know, I try to live my life day to day with that same sort of mentality of, hey, you know, it's not gonna be the best day in the world every day. You have some good days, you have some bad days, but, you know, as long as you know, you understand and keep pushing and keep grinding, you'll be all right.
A very positive outlook on life.
Right.
That's good. Colonel Joseph had amazing leadership skills and teaching in the military, but I'm sure he had some life lessons for you too. What is one life lesson that he taught you that has never left you?
He told my sister and myself when we were going to college, go have fun, you know, you're going to learn something interesting that you're going to want to pursue for the rest of your lives. But, you know, no matter what the teachers or the counselors or, you know, whoever the advisors want to tell you, you go to school for two reasons. One, to learn how to think, and two, to learn how other people think. I think he took that very hardcore freshman year of college, and he's like, oh, this is really cool. Now I'm learning a bunch of things, and, you know, he really tried pushing that on my sister and me to say, you know, have fun, but, you know, understand that, you know, you're going to learn and become wiser. You're not going to become just educated. You're going to learn about the world, gain perspective about people, thoughts, ideas, different cultures, you know.
It's like whenever you go to college, you're gonna meet a whole different like bubble. You're gonna be in a whole different world. And he was just like, don't take that for granted.
Right. You know, it's easy to say, you know, you grow up here in Plum, or, you know, if I grew up in Fayetteville, I see the same X number of students throughout school, and then all of a sudden I meet people that I've never, you know, even thought of a different culture before. I've never thought of their way of living life. And, you know, it's very interesting to sit there and listen to them. That's the big thing. Listen to them, get perspective, and think,
Like you
so
can,
I'm learning something new that's not in a textbook, you know.
You can learn from peers too.
Right.
Yeah. Your father was a Plum alumni. Have you ever heard stories about his high school days here? And if so, which one stuck out the most or was the most funny?
I heard a lot, and I'm not sure that they are video appropriate, you know, but, you know, day to day, he had a lot of memories at this school, you know, in the community as a whole. And, you know, it's very difficult to point out just one, but, you know, I would say his time playing on the football team, wrestling, and doing things like that, you know, being around his friends is what was the most important to him.
Yeah, friends and sports are always big ones, for sure.
Right.
If you had to be most proud of your father for one thing, what would it be and why?
Being a good dad. You know, he was gone here and there for the military, going on deployment, going out into the field for training, this, that, these, and those. But, you know, every chance he got, he made a concerted effort to be involved in everything that we were doing. And, you know, it's very easy to take it for granted then, but now looking back on it, that's super tough. You know, you're working 16, 18 hours days, high stress environments out overseas, and when you just want to go to bed and just forget about it, sends an email, hey, thinking about you guys, thanks for the letters, thanks for the care package. You know, it didn't go unnoticed to him just how, you know, stressful it would be on the family as it was for him.
Yeah. He showed you, all of you, how important you were in his life.
Right.
So even if he wasn't there, he was always thinking about you. And finally, if you could tell the current students of Plum one thing, what would it be?
Enjoy high school. The world gets very difficult very quickly, you know, after you get out of college. My uncle said, welcome to the world of the mundane and monotonous for 40 years. Don't let that be your mentality. You know, do what you love. You know, you're getting a good foundation here at the school. You know, you're getting a good idea of, you know, what do I want to pursue for a passion, a career? You know, you can say a job, you know, some people, a job's a job, but, you know, really sit and think about what passions you have. You know, that was a good thing that that Joe said as well, you know. Hey, you know, if you don't like it, switch majors. Hey, you don't like what you're doing, you don't think you're going to like it, go ahead and change. It's not too late to change, you know, and to do something different. You know, find what you like, go for it, and you'll be happy.
Yeah, we're still young. We can make decisions as we go on. Thank you so much for the inspiration. And your father was a true patriot.
I appreciate it.
And
Thank you
again,
for the time.
Thank you for your time.